So I've been playing this event for a bit now, and while I don't think the initial concept was pretty interesting, I will say is that a lot of duels don't seem to be too different. Maybe it's because the quality of cards are still quite low, and maybe the quality of cards improve as you go later in the round. Although I think they all share the same pool, so maybe not. Like the thing is when you get a random card, most of the time the random card is like completely useless, does not really do anything, especially if it's a spell and trap card. There are very few useful spell and trap cards that you get from the obtainable card pool. So like, yeah, besides like maybe a couple UR spells, the spell and trap card you get is going to be largely useless for the most part. Like it's not going to affect anything. And the monster you start on board, most of the time the monster is also not doing anything by itself, although sometimes it does provide board presence, and it does, it forces your opponent to, find a unique way to out it first, because, if you start on the field with Skyward Dolares, or you start on the field with Vassal Liger, obviously, you do have to, like, either get rid of it or put up a negate for it, an additional interruption, so that you don't get killed by the monster that's, like, just on board immediately. But for the most part, that's not really a big deal for most modern decks. Like, most modern decks, if there's a monster in the field, like, undefended, it's going to be not there by the time the turn rolls over. And yeah, the biggest thing I've noticed is that basically there are certain decks that require a clear field in order to play. There's cards like Primite Roar, there's Melodious, there's stuff like Live Twins, or like what's that deck I'm thinking of? Unexpected Die. Yeah, Unexpected Die is another one, like for plants, for example. These types of decks do get affected the most by this change, but it has nothing to do with the cards themselves, and everything to do with the fact that they just start the duel with a card on the field already, which turns off a bunch of cards in their deck. So like that's like the main thing that this dual dice thing seems to be affecting. And as such, it's probably recommended that you should swap out decks depending on what the duel condition is and which cards you get. So yeah, just to make it more smoother. That being said, I barely had to do any of that because I apparently accidentally played the best deck in the entire format. Tier 0, not even close. Okay, here's the deck you're looking. Yeah, here's the deck. Here's the masterpiece Tier 0 deck. We're playing Suship, Mathmech, Primite, Fiendsmith with 20 hand traps because we gotta play 60 cards. So yeah, I started this as a joke because I just wanted to play Suship Primite, and then when I tried building the deck, I realized that the deck went over 40 cards way too easily. Like there was hardly any space for hand traps, so I wanted to play both the whole Suship engine plus the entire Primite engine. So then I'm like, okay, you know what? Fuck it, might as well go to 60, right? Let's put in the Fiendsmith engine, because why not? This deck makes rank 4s, and they banned Moon of the Closed Heaven. You know what they didn't ban? Yeah, this shit. Tell me what the attribute and the typing of this monster is. So yeah, that's how the concept of this deck was born. I'm playing rank 4 payoffs for probably the deck in the format that's probably the best at making rank 4s, which is Suship's. Unironically, I think Suship is one of the best engines for making rank 4s. It's pretty simple. Like if you literally open any 2 Suships, you just get a rank 4 immediately, free. And the general idea of this deck is, you'll see in the replays, but you make any two level 4 monsters, gets you to Alan Bershin. Alan Bershin gets you to Mathmech Circular. Mathmech Circular, at this point your opponent's probably wondering what the fuck kind of drugs they took before they queued into this duel, because I would turn my opponent would like ash my Primite Roar, or they would like, I don't know, let my Unexpected Die go through because it's fucking Unexpected Die, and then they like negate my Effort Barrel thinking that's a good hit, and then I would go to rank 4 into Alan Bershin to get Circular to get access to Super Factorial. There would be like, I know some people were scratching their heads on the other side of the screen, but yeah, you get Circular, you dump Nabla, Alan Merchant summon back Nabla, get Super Factorial, Nabla summon Diameter. That's how you get all 3 Mathmechs into rotation. And then guess what? You have 2 level 4s on the board still at the end of that. What do? You go into Excitonite. And then you go Excitonite into Requiem. And then you do Fiendsmith combo. So basically, this deck goes from Primite into Suship, into Mathmech, into Fiendsmith, and then at the end of it all, you should have something resembling a board that has like a Caesar, the Fiendsmith stuff, the Caesar, the Lacrima with the Requiem engraved to be able to send the Paradise on your opponent's turn, plus a Super Factorial Live, plus another either a rank 4 or whatever, plus a Gunkin Suship Shari either on the field or in the graveyard with a Primite Drill Beam and a Primite Roar setup. Which this entire thing is like 7 to 8 plus interruptions from a fucking Suship deck, yeah. So your opponents never break it through that board. So yeah, this is honestly legit one of the strongest boards in the entire format, because most people that are playing Fiendsmiths aren't playing all of this extra shit because they're not as insane as I am to try and fucking fit a Suship engine plus Mathmech into their Fiendsmith deck. But yeah, this is like I tried playing other decks. I played a Fire King Snake Eyes deck for a little bit. This deck has such a higher win rate than the Fire King Snake Eyes deck even. Like it was not even close. This deck is unbelievable. And yeah, also, you know, the follow up and all that stuff, but there's a reason why this deck also takes the most advantage of Dippity. This deck shows why Dippity is unfortunately way better than White Duston, because what Dippity is a level 4, so most of the time you're gonna Primite or if you don't have access to your Suship cards, you're gonna Dippity, or maybe even if you have 2 Suship cards. So like any 2 Suship cards get you 2 level 4 bodies on the field to get you in next rank 4 keys already. So if you already have access to that, then you can just Unexpected Die or Primate Roar for Dippity. And then, yeah, Dippity being a level 4 is extremely relevant in a deck that wants to use level 4 monsters to do Mathmech combo into Excitonite. But yeah, a lot of times I will summon Dippity, and then I will normal summon Effort Barrel, and then they will have to decide whether they want to hand trap my Dippity, or they want to save their hand trap for my Fiendsmith engine, or use their hand trap on my Primites. And if they use their hand trap on the Primite, then they fucked up, because then the level 4 Effort Barrel plus the level 4 Dippity will go into Alan Bergen to get me my Mathmechs first. So now you gotta deal with Super Factorial, and then we go into Fiendsmith after that. So it's like, that doesn't matter. I get drolled. Droll literally cuts off 1 interruption. I get to do the rest of... cuts off 1 of my like 3-4 engines, and I get to access the other 2 or the other 3 still pretty easily. 1 hand trap, oftentimes you just literally you don't even notice it. Yeah, that's it. Probably if you're still confused on like what the fuck this deck is doing, trust me, you'll be I'll turn you into a believer when you see the replays. But yeah, the deck list is, for the Suships, you got 3 Shari, 3 Shari Red, 3 Uni, because Uni is the best one. If you open this plus any other Suship monster, you just get to special summon this. And then what's important is that you can also change it into a level 4, because it starts at level 5, and you turn it into a level 4, you can add a Shari to hand, which is very important, because this deck also makes Drill Beam live super easy. I contemplated running 3 Drill Beam, because Drill Beam is so easy live between Painful Decision, adding Shari to hand, and then Uni also being able to add Shari, oftentimes without even normal summoning. So like you always have access to a normal monster to use Drill Beam, so you don't even worry about that. And then you like 1 Ikura, 1 Shiral, and then like I'm not even running any Gunkin spell traps, because unfortunately, like, we're not playing a Gunkin Suship end board. Like, we're not playing pure Suship, so the spell traps only really aid you if you're trying to end on Gunkin Exceeds. But we're using because the Gunkin Suships don't lock you into anything. We're turning these into different Exceeds. So unfortunately, you know, if you want to click away pure Suship enjoyers, you don't make the Suship Exceeds that much, and you don't search any Suship spell traps. But you know, hey man, this is like the way to make Suship. This is the best way to make Suship the strongest it can be. So yeah, and then obviously the Primite engine, we have 1 Effort Barrel, the 3 Lore Lilo, the 3 Roar, because Roar gets you like 2 different targets, which are full combo, double Drill Beam, so you can use it every turn. And then 1 Redox plus double Gold Sark to search the Effort Barrel. And then to go along with the Primite engine, we're also running 3 Unexpected Die, which is like Primite Roar except without the Grave effect. Keep in mind, Gunkin Suship Shari is a big boy. It has 2k attack, so you should be able to pop most normal summons with the Primite Roar Grave effect as well. And as mentioned, the Painful Decision sends a Shari to the grave and then adds a Shari to hand. Keep in mind that Gunkin Suship Shari Red is always treated as Gunkin Suship Shari, so when Painful Decision adds a monster with the same name from deck your hand, you can add the Gunkin Suship Shari as well, and then Gunkin Suship Shari can also you can also normal summon this, and then you can reveal a Gunkin Suship Shari in your hand and then special summon this card, so it's another free extender. And you can also, even make a free Gunkin Suship Xyz if you have that many more extra bodies. But yeah, this like super consistent. Lots of ways to get in this Gunkin Suship Shari, which then gets you 1 Shari gets you access to 2 separate engines. So yeah, Gunkin Suship Shari is a full Mathmech plus full Fiendsmith combo. You heard it here first. And then the Mathmech engine is just 1 circular, 1 diameter, 1 Nabla, 1 super factorial. That's all you need in order to end with a super factorial on your field to be able to go into Laptation on your opponent's turn, which most decks cannot deal with Laptation plus Caesar. I'm gonna say that right now, or Laptation plus Dweller, or whatever the hell you want to end on. And then Fiendsmith engine this is all we have. So 1 Lacrima, 1 Engraver. Could honestly bump up Lacrima to more copies if you have it, because Lacrima is a level 4, which is really important. You can literally normal summon Lacrima to get the full combo as well. It's honestly, I think it's optimal to run 3 Lacrima. I just don't have 3 Lacrima, but yeah, level 4. Yeah, 1 Engraver, 1 Tract, and then 1 Paradise for the Send. Can also, I played double Desiree. That you never make 2 Desirees, like you don't need 2 Desiree because you only have 1 Engraver, so you're never making the line where you're making Desiree plus setting Fiendsmith Paradise on field. You just don't have enough Fiendsmith names to do that. But yeah, and then hand traps, like you just run all the rest of the deck is just hand traps. DD Crow, Veiler, Ash, Droll, Inperm, Small Charming, Fool Loss. Fool Loss is a level 4, so many times I will unexpected die and then normal summon Fool Loss to go into full Mathmech combo and then go into full Fiendsmith combo after the Mathmech combo. This is a half of a starter. Then the Extract. So the Extract is super tight. Yeah, it's super tight. There's like 1 flex spot. So Lacrima, Necrocrypt, of note, Lacrima bringing back a level 4 monster. Sometimes if you have to shovel back Engraver because you want to keep the Lacrima the Crimson Tears engraved, you can also there are lines where you can go sequence to make Lacrima revive Lacrima the Crimson Tears, and then make a rank 4, make a Dweller instead. So that way you can preserve the Lacrima the Crimson Tears engrave, as well as make the Fiendsmith Lacrima in like sequence as well. So yeah, Necrocrypt Princess, double Desiree, you only really need 1 of this. The double Desiree, right? Like Desiree plus Fiendsmith in Paradise board again doesn't really come up. So this could be like a Zeus, for example. Zeus seems pretty important in a deck that runs this many Xyz, but yeah, 1 Dweller because it's a water monster, so it fulfills the bonus condition. That's the only time I actually used Dweller. I don't think I've needed Dweller in any game that. So I just win without using. Okay, there's maybe 1 game where I Dweller a Mermail player, and that made the game like trivial. But yeah, you probably should run Dweller because Mermail is one of the best decks, and this also turns off Fiendsmith decks. Evil Swarm, Exciton Knight, Moon of the Closed Heaven. Just Evil Swarm, Exciton Knight. Laplation, Alan Bershin, 1 Ikura, 1 Uni. There's another Gunkin Xyz, but we would not play this one because this bonus effect is to add a Gunkin Spell and Trap deck from your deck to your hand, which this deck does not play any, unfortunately, for space issues. So only 2 Gunkin Suship Xyz. But yeah, I barely ever make these because if I go first, you obviously don't make these going first, and going second, these are much better going second. You will never make these going first because you're not playing the Utopic Draco Future package because there's no space. But yeah, 1 M7, 1 High King Caesar, Requiem Sequence, and Agnum Day. So yeah, dude, I'm sure you're dying to see how the fuck this deck actually works. So let's get into it. Like honestly, the only thing holding this deck back is that sometimes you start the game with a monster on board, and that's the only way that to stop this deck, because then that turns off your unexpected die and your Primite Roar. But honestly, even that's fine most of the time, because if the monster you get is a level 4 monster, like Elephant right here, you can just normal summon anything and then do full combo anyways. Who cares, bro? Like, honestly, yeah, this deck's crazy. So here's an example of the ideal full combo with this deck. And keep in mind, I also misplayed this game, and I misplayed, and it didn't even matter. We were still one going away. But yeah, I'm gonna unexpected die since I already have Painful Decision and Gunslinger Suship Shari. I can just summon Dippity and make my combo even easier. Then we Painful Decision for Shari Red, and we're gonna special Shari Red by revealing Shari, and then normal summon the other Shari, go into Alan Bershin, and then they're going to Inperm, except we already have. We have like 2 ways to make Drill Beam live, so you know we're just gonna Drill Beam the Inperm. Honestly, opening the double Drill Beam was fucking nuts as well, because we didn't open other Primite cards. But yeah, then we go Mathmech Circular, and then Circular dump Nabla, Alan Bershin summon back the Nabla, Circular add Super Factorial, and then we link off the Dippity into Sequence into Lacrima, send Engraver, and then I'm gonna Nabla. I forgot to do this earlier. You're supposed to Nabla summon out Diameter. That way you get all 3 Mathmech names in rotation. And then I'm gonna use Requiem equipped to the Lacrima, and then Lacrima into Electrocrypt, and then to put back the Dippity for the Engraver, and then we're gonna go into DDD Highway from Caesar, and then we're gonna go into Dweller. And this is the misplay, so yeah, I make Dweller, and you have to Dweller detach the. If you make Dweller with 2 Mathmechs, you have to detach 1 Mathmech in order to, you know, get all 3 Mathmechs into the grave on your opponent's turn. But yeah, you're supposed to summon Abyss Dweller up here if you do this line, because what's gonna happen is I'm gonna Lacrima summon back Lacrima to send the Fiendsmith in Paradise as well as another interruption. But then I don't have enough zones to Super Factorial, so I realized this during my opponent's turn. But yeah, also there's an argument to keeping the Dippity on field and just going into Excite on Night. That way it makes my Drill Beam live, because I actually open 2 Drill Beam. But like usually you don't keep the Dippity on field because you don't usually hard open 2 Drill Beam, but I did. So like I could have had even more. I cut off like half of my interruptions with this, and it was still fine because my opponent's playing Mermail. So yeah, nice Dweller, nice deck. Summon it does not. This is why partly why it didn't matter, because I just made a Dweller anyways. But being able to make Dweller in a format where Mermail exists very easily is also a boon. So yeah, they're going to Abyss Tears, which I just can't with the Caesar. So like good luck playing through Dweller, Caesar plus Paradise. Don't even need. I don't even need the Super Factorial. I don't even need the Drill Beam, which should have been live, but you know, whatever, right? So here's an alternative line, which my opponent starts with the blow my back out dragon, and I have a double unexpected die for Purrely though. So I'm gonna unexpected die, and I'm gonna get out the Dippity. I don't have any Suship monsters, so unfortunately I could not draw a Suship monster in my Suship deck, so I'm just gonna normal summon Primite Ephebero instead, and I get Valor. And this is why Dippity is unfortunately way better than White Duston, because you can exceed Dippity plus the Valor Ephebero into Mathmech, Prime Mathmech Alan Bershin, and then Alan Bershin adds Circular, and then you need the Circular line, baby. So yeah, Nabla, summon back the Nabla, get the Super Factorial, then Nabla summon Diameter, and then Diameter plus a Circular into Excite on Night, into Requiem, into Lacrima. Like my opponent's probably. I want to look at the faces of every single one of my opponents that saw me go Mathmech Alan Bershin into leading into me Fiendsmith combo. But yeah, anyways, now we can go put back the Excite on Night for the Fiendsmith Engraver. And here, So here's a different line that I want to do is because I kind of this blowback dragon. Honestly, this blowback dragon kind of has the potential to blow my back out if I let it live. So I actually kind of, I kind of was desperate to like find a way to out this, and eventually I'm like, I said fuck it. I'm just gonna Requiem. I'm just gonna send this a Requiem. Like forgo making Necrocrypt, and I'm just gonna make a sequence instead. And unfortunately, sequence here you have to shuffle back 3 to make Desiree. So I am gonna keep the Black Knight of the Crimson Tears, so I at least have follow up. But then instead, I'm just gonna go into Desiree, into Agnum Day, and then Agnum Day revive Desiree, equip to the Agnum, equip to Desiree, equip sequence, and then Primite Lordly load, summon out the Gunkin Suship Shari, because Shari is to be. It doesn't really do anything. I don't have a drill beam. If they think I have a drill beam, that's a bluff. But this is just to Gunkin Suship Shari is just here because it finally got to visit, because we finally got to visit that harbor, and I want to show up front, the Edo front, what this deck is about. Like honestly, they wouldn't have known that I was playing Suship until I revealed the Shari with the Lordly load. So like this was literally just there for aura. This is here just to sit here menacingly doing nothing. But yeah, the main thing is that we have Desiree, which is untargetable, plus 5800, so that's incredibly hard to out. Plus the opponent's playing Purrely, so they're gonna Purrely and then Shadow Beast, and unfortunately that's gonna play right into a Droll. So unfortunately for them, and yeah, we have a Super Factorial too. So we have the Desiree to protect the Super Factorial, not like Call by Grape is legal though, so that doesn't really matter. So I'm gonna Droll them. They're gonna pre-memory reveal that they have the pre-memory hard drawn, and then I'm gonna put the Super Factorial on the E-Pro, even though this E-Pro really doesn't do anything right now because it cannot target the Desiree. So like all this can do is it can suck up my Shari, which is like I could have just I should have just let them eat, because these cats with this one delicious memory, these cats are starving these days. Like I should have let them eat my sushi, just to feed them a little bit. But yeah, now we're just gonna go into Laplation, which is gonna end the game immediately because you can just negate their E-Pearly Beauty. So yeah, send 2, send the Sleepy Memory as well, and then they just pass my turn, and next pass it back to me. I promise this is not BM, okay? I normal summon Effort Barrel to set drill me, okay? I promise this isn't BM. I know I have game on board, okay? I'm doing this because they give me bonus points for making a water monster. So for summoning a water monster. So I summon Abyss Dweller just to get the extra 150 points. Okay, it was optimal. I'm sorry that I swear that was not BM. Okay, I know Desiree was game on board already by itself, but yeah, man, that's imagine trying to hand trap this deck. It's not gonna work. All right, this game we opened a again. This hand just seems even a hand like this is like so broken. So I'm gonna Lordly load and add a Primite Roar. So I don't add what's it called, the Effort Barrel, because if I just add Effort Barrel, I would be Drill Beam passing, which I mean it's fine. Drill Beam pass with like 2 hand traps, it's okay, but I want to actually combo off. I want to play my deck. I want to play my Suships. So we summon out Shari, and because Shari summon, now we get to summon out Shiral from our hand as a free extender. And now we go to Alan Bershin, baby. And Alan Bershin adds Circular, special Circular, dump Nabla, and then we're gonna use Alan Bershin, which gets met with Bell. So that was a very good Bell. Now they could have. You could have argued that they could have just belled my Super Factorial on their turn and would have been the exact same thing, which probably as well. But now I have to normal summon Fualos, because Fualos is a level 4 monster. Who'd have thought? Going to Evil Swarm Exciton Knight, and how we get to go Exciton Knight into Requiem through the bell into Lacrima. Lacrima send Engraver, and then Engraver gets. That was a very early. That was a pretty early Magnum. They didn't even wait for me to shuffle back my Exciton Knight. They just off the rip summoned the Magnum. So I am going to go Requiem, and then I'm going to go into a Necrocrypt Princess. Then I'm going to summon out a second Shari, and then we're going to pass on this. So hopefully this is enough. My opponent is playing Vanquish Soul, so that it's a Yeah, I don't. I only Ash Magnamud if I know I'm playing against Tenpai or like Dragon Link, but a lot of there's Vanquish Soul is very popular this event, so you know if they're just gonna add Caesar Valley as the hand, I'm fine with that honestly. And this might look kind of sad. Like we got hit by two very devastating hand traps: Bell plus Magnamud versus Mathmech plus Fiendsmith. Like these are very good hand traps versus my engines. But we still end on a Roar Engrave plus a Lacrima Engrave, which is going to send for Fiendsmith in Paradise, plus 2 hand traps. So this is still somehow 4 interruptions. And yeah, my opponent is now going to activate Pot Extravagance, which is even better, because Pot Extravagance means I can Ash to Pot Extravagance. And because they didn't run over my Necrophilic Princess at first, now this Necrophilic Princess is going to give me another draw. It's going to give me a draw too. So it's like a Heat Soul as well. So we got a draw, we draw into Valor, because this deck is just way too good. And now, you know, Requiem, summon out a Lacrima send Paradise, and like I'm feeling okay. I'm feeling like maybe we can survive this turn. They're gonna activate Infinable Arms on the Bestial Magnet, which means that they have access to Raisin. So this just got a lot more annoying. But now they're gonna normal summon Raisin, and on the summon Raisin, I'm gonna chain Primite Roar and targeting my Shari. Then they're gonna chain Caesar Valley. You see this on the Raisin. So this is since they're chaining to the Raisin, I'm gonna chain Valor. So now that they can't dodge the Raisin with the Caesar Valley is because they already used it, so I changed it to Caesar Valius. And now, here's the annoying part. So, Primate Roar says, if your opponent normal summons a monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one normal monster, then banish one monster from the field with less attack on that monster. Slight issue, my opponent no longer controls a monster with less attack than my Gunkin Suship Shari. It got buffed a little bit, but unfortunately it's just one rice ball. It's not. It's just one piece of sushi. It's not that big. So, unfortunately, this means that I'm going to have to banish my own Necrophilic Princess, which is sad, but at least we negated their Raisin, and now they summoned the Caesar Valius, which means now I get to send Desiree, and then Desiree put back the Excitement, and I pray to God that they didn't open another Earth monster. Thankfully, Maxi is banned, so they didn't have an Earth monster to protect their Caesar Valius. So now we don't have to deal with Caesar Valius anymore, and now we don't have to deal with a Rock of the Vanquisher anymore. So my opponent has no engine anymore. They can't do anything. They have no interruption on my turn. Pass to me. They try to attack over Gunkin Suship. So Primate Roar has text. The declared normal monster cannot be destroyed by battle until the end of your opponent's turn. Nice. That's a shame scoop if I ever saw one. Honestly, I wouldn't have scooped because Engraver is limited, so like I wasn't guaranteed to get my Fiendsmith engine back online. So it's not like I had guaranteed follow up. I did have a rank 4 on field though, so I could have made a Shari to draw another. I could have made a. This is the instance where I would have made a Gunkin Suship Xyz to try and draw another card, and then hopefully go from there. If not, we still have a. We at the very least have a Lordly Load control for a. I can make a Requiem to use on my opponent's turn, though that doesn't sound that great. Yeah, I don't know why my opponent left, to be honest. Like, I know it was a shame scoop, but they were definitely not guaranteed to lose. Especially if I didn't kill them, they had Raisin in their hand still for next turn. And when Vanquish Soul has Raisin, like, they can do anything. So, here's another game, and this hand is insanely busted, and we opened Unity, which is unfortunately a card that low-key, this card can come up. If I don't open Primite Roar, and I have to use Lordly Load to summon the defense position monster, Unity gives my defense position, 0 defense position normal monsters, defense, in order so that I can't be run over by battle, so that they can't bait out my Drill Beam early. So this low-key, this is not a useless card. This actually can come up in like 5% of my hands, potentially. But yeah, unfortunately, this is a hand where Unity does not come up because I already hard opened the Primite Roar. So, you know, we're gonna go Uni, summon Shari, and then I'm gonna add Shari to hand, and then they're gonna draw me. Wow, what a man! That draw was actually good because it cut me off as Mathmech access, so I can't go into Super Factorial, which is actually a pretty big deal. Unfortunately, I already have way too much, even without the Super Factorial, because we already have the Shari, which is going to make the Drill Beam live, so I don't even care that I can't go into Mathmech. Instead, I'm just going to go to Requiem, then Requiem for Lacrima, and then Lacrima send Engraver, and then, you know, the same old, make Necroquip, Engraver, put back the Dippity, go into Caesar. If you had Nib, it's too late now, and then I'm gonna go into Abyss Dweller on top. This is where you shouldn't make Abyss Dweller on top because I don't have a Super Factorial, so I don't need the free zones in my Monster Zone in the first place. So I just blocked off my Links up. Doesn't really matter because now I'm gonna normal summon Shari, and through the draw we had Dweller, Caesar, Shari with a Drill Beam live, plus a Roaring Grave. So that's 1, 2, 3. This is like 4 interruptions plus a Floodgate through a draw. Very nice. Love to see some decks do that through a draw in this format. But yeah, our opponent's playing Hero, hence the name Casual Player, and fortunately they're just gonna get negated plus Floodgated out of the game. No malicious for you, and you're gonna normal summon Droll and Lockbird, which we're just gonna Primite Roar because we can't Primite Roar anything else. And they leave without even me flipping my Drill Beam. So okay then, yeah. So this is the worst game played in the entire event by far, not even close, by both players. If it weren't for copyright, I would be just playing clown music in the background for this entire duel, because God, we both fucking deserve it. But yeah, my opponent starts with Lordly Load. Immediately mistake, I don't Ash this. Well, you should 100% Ash Lordly Load this event, because Effort Barrel is limited. So if you just Ash this, they can't get access to the Effort Barrel, and then all things are good. Instead, I let them get the Effort Barrel, so I have to Imperm this, which this Effort Barrel certainly won't come back to haunt me in following turns, right? Surely. And then my opponent next begins with Track, which I guess it was good that I held the Ash for this. You know, I got rewarded for holding the Ash incorrectly because my opponent opened the 1-up. That's totally worth playing around, but you know, whatever. Then they're gonna Lordly Load, declare White Dust on, and I'm gonna Fool Loss it. And this game's gonna be another feather in the cap for the Dippity propaganda and why Dippity is better than White Dust on. Because you'll see who comes out on top, the Proudest of them all, or a cute little thing who lives in a glass bottle. And yeah, my turn, draw another Ash, and now I'm gonna Painful Decision. So you might be wondering why I didn't activate Magical Midbreaker Field. It's because I can't read. I'm illiterate. Because the first line of text says to activate this card at the start of your main phase 1 or 2. Instead, my dumbass activated Painful Decision, and then for like 2 seconds after I get drolled, you know, of course you're gonna get drolled this event, but I was like, why can't I activate this? Then I read the card, and I was like, huh, cool. One of the best free cards you could get this entire event, and I didn't even use it. Nice. So instead, I'm gonna special Shari and Ikura reveal 3, and reveal a Shari, and I summon it, and then I make Exciton Knight, and then I use Evils from Exciton Knight's intended effect to blow up the field, so like my extra Shari didn't even matter. So I just go Fiendsmith combo now, and we go Requiem into Lacrima, send Engraver, equip the Requiem, summon back Engraver, put back the Exciton Knight, and we go into Necrocrypt into Caesar, and now we have Caesar plus Lacrima with the Requiem Engrave. Okay, so pass back to my opponent. This Effort Barrel comes back because I let them search it with Lordly Load instead of ashing the fucking thing, so now I gotta deal with Effort Barrel for multiple turns. Lovely. Love that for me. That normal summon Effort Barrel, set the Lordly Load, another Lordly Load, nice, and then you're gonna activate Lordly Load, which is gonna be met with Ash, so I cannot let them search Drill Beam right now. And then they're gonna Sarnier. Okay, so Sarnier, I negate that. I'm like, okay, that was an unfortunate top deck for you that you top decked the Sarnier on the turn I made Caesar. So unlucky. Okay. And then after that I'm gonna use Lacrima because I realized that I should have summoned this earlier because my opponent is on they could be playing Typhon. If they Typhon me right now, attack over my Caesar, I'm cooked. Because then like that's actually not good for me. And so instead I Lacrima. I realizing that the Typhon's an option. I summon Lacrima. I use Lacrima's effect to summon back Requiem. But then my opponent Magnum Butts me. So they had 2 Bestials in hand. Keep in mind, you only draw 1 card per turn. So this means they had a Bestial in hand last turn. Now, why wouldn't they Bestial my Fiendsmith cards on my turn? Like, before I made Caesar, and they could have bestialed my engraver, which was limited this format, and then I would not have a. Why the fuck does this show semi-limited? We're doing the event balance. This is at 1. Okay, whatever, Konami. But yeah, well, I don't know. They just chose not to bestial me last turn. Interesting. So cool. Now both your bestials get Caesar'd, and that was. And so instead of resolving a bestial and preventing from getting Caesar, both your bestials just got Caesar instead. And then I summon Lacrima because I need to send the Paradise Engraver. That way if they make Typhon, I have a check for their Typhon. Instead they're going to use Lordly Load to summon out White Duston, and then I use... This is a terrible play. This is awful, okay? This play still loses to Typhon. Okay, look what I do. I use Fiends in Paradise, send Desiree. Desiree, send the Aether Barrel because I'm worried about the Aether Barrel attacking over my Lacrima. That's fucking dumb-ass play, okay? If they wanted to make Typhon, they could just still make... They could still make Typhon over the White Duston, and then Typhon attack over my Caesar, and it, like, or they wouldn't even attack over my Caesar. But yeah, it's whatever. At that point, I was too scared of Typhon, more than I should be, because they already used the Lordly Loads effect, so like they couldn't even use Typhon's effect. Then they go Requiem, and they can't use Requiem's effects. They use Lordly Loads, so they're gonna pass it back to my turn. But I have no materials on the Caesar, so it doesn't matter. They can do whatever they want. I top deck. Great top deck. Great top deck. I normal summon Dippity, and then they go Lacrima, send Paradise, and here I go Alan Burschen effect, add Circular, which means that I can't kill them this turn if I use Circular's effect, so I use Circular, and here's where they misplayed. They should have, on Circular Summon, they should have used Fiendsmith in Paradise, send the Circular. I would have not been able to do any Mathmech stuff. Instead, they for some reason let me use Alan Burschen to summon back the Nabla, which then lets me use Circular to search Super Factorial. At this point, even at this point, they should have used Fiendsmith in Paradise to send Nabla to the graveyard. Because if they send the Nabla, then I can't get access to Diameter, and the Super Factorial would be dead anyways. Instead, I go Nabla into Diameter, and now I have a... And now they Fiendsmith in Paradise after I summon out Diameter, after I already got 3 names for the Super Factorial. So, wow, what a profitable Fiendsmith in Paradise. Sending the Desiree to put back the Requiem, to send the... What are you afraid of? Me making a second Alan version I can't use the effect for? What the... Anyway, summon back Engraver, put back the Desiree, and then... I go into Requiem, and then I realize that, I realize my Lacrima and my Engraver are in Graveyard, so the Requiem actually didn't have anything to summon, so instead I go into Sequence, then I use Sequence, summon... Put back Engraver plus Dippity to summon Lacrima, and then Lacrima summons back the other Lacrima, and I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Why am I not making just Desiree here? Because if I make Desiree, like, at least I have an interruption. That I already went through my Fiends of Paradise. There's no benefit of keeping the Engraver, of keeping the Requiem still engraved. So now I use Lacrima to dump the Engraver, and I enter battle phase. And like, Circular has a restriction. It can only attack with 1 monster, so I can only attack with Lacrima. And I go into Dweller, and then I set, and then I get Nibiru. Wow, that was a terrible play. That was one of the worst sequencing I've ever done in my entire life. That was the literal worst sequencing in Nibiru possible. The only reason we win this game is because my opponent misplayed and let me get the Super Factorial. So yeah, they're gonna add the Effort Barrel back once again. The normal summon Lacrima. Why I don't know what they normal summon the Lacrima. What is this? Why not normal summon Effort Barrel for... I mean, it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, they lost because they let us get the Super Factorial. So I can just get Super Factorial, and then one Super Factorial is going to win the game because we send their Lordly Load, we send their Nibiru, and we send a card in hand so that all they have left in hand is an Effort Barrel. And there's Lacrima. Is there engravers? The Requiem isn't engraved, but like we have a negate for their Requiem. So that they're gonna go into Requiem. They apparently don't play Typhon, because Typhon would have at least done something to this board. But instead they just Requiem, wait to pass for my turn, and then I go Lacrima summon back Sequence. And now, like, even though they can use Requiem, unless you play 2 Paradise, this isn't an interruption. So yeah, that was... I could not even explain what either me or my opponent were doing for the last 3 turns, because there was not a single good play that was that was performed within the last 3 turns. I will say that by both players. Alright, so the last duel, I'm just putting in here because who doesn't want to see more Mermail players get bullied, right? So yeah, my opponent starts with Detonate the Leader, which is this is actually one of the best monsters you can start with, because notice this card's text is once per turn at the start of damage step, when this card battles a face-up monster that is not a link 3 or higher monster, you can destroy that monster. So once per turn, you can also tribute 1 monster this card points to, then target 1 monster your opponent controls, destroy it. So this card wipes out 2 cards on the field, and you just get to start with this for free. So that's kind of broken. So I actually had to deal with this on my turn. And yeah, I'm gonna activate Goatsark, because we opened Goatsark, didn't draw the Redoct, thank god, in 60, and then use Redoct effect, and my opponent ashes this. Like, my opponent ashes correctly. You're supposed to stop me from getting the effort barrel, okay? That is a correct ash. Unfortunately for my opponent, we're playing... Our deck we're playing is too good. So we can go Uni, summon Shari and itself, and then Uni, add Gunkin Suship Shari, go into Allen Version, and then Allen Version into Mathmech Circular, and then Mathmech Circular, send Nabla, and then summon back the Nabla. So now, even though they ashed my effort barrier, they're still gonna deal with this Mathmech shit, and then you get the Diameter, and then we go into Exciton Knight into Requiem. I'm wondering if I didn't add the Shari, if I could have Exciton Knight, the innate leader. What's the text on Exciton Knight? If your opponent has more total cards in their hand, then okay, more. So like that wouldn't have worked because we would have rolled the same anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered. Yeah, we go into Requiem anyways. Requiem into Lacrima to Engraver, summon back Engraver, and here I'm like, okay, so I'm not gonna think too hard. I'm just gonna get rid of this fucking Detonate the Leader by equipping Requiem and then just sending the Requiem. And then I'm gonna go into Fiendsmith sequence, and then here I get hit by an Imperm. I'm like, first of all, I'm like, who the hell keeps Imperm in their deck when they know they start the duel with a monster on the field? The answer is it's the loner deck. So this is the loner deck. That's clearly the reason why. So I'm like, I should not have been caught off guard into it. I just played into Imperm for no reason. But also, does it really matter? Because even through an Imperm and Ash Blossom, we still... an Imperm that, by the way, should not have been live, so I misplayed into keeping the Imperm live. But still, we have Super Factorial plus Lacrima Engrave, which is still, like, depending on how you want to count the interruptions, Mathmech Super Factorial is like 3 interruptions because it sends like a monster and a card from hand, and then a negate as well, plus another send with Lacrima, plus we have 2 non-engine hand still, because this deck has room for a decent amount of non-engine too. Who would have thought? So yeah, they're gonna roll some Net the Abyss, which Net the Abyss, unfortunately, if it ain't Poseidra, you're not cracking this board. So Lacrima, send the Paradise, and then I'm gonna use Super Factorial, and then Super Factorial for 3. Man, it's like actually amazing how much like the Super Factorial comes up. Super Factorial is legit the best part of this deck's end board. So like I might have lost a few more games if it weren't for playing the Mathmech cards. Like this isn't just win more. Legit, these cards have won me. The Mathmech cards have like won me probably more games than like either of the other engines interruptions combined. So yeah. So yeah, let me know if you guys have been enjoying this event or not. And what are your thoughts on it? Is it thumbs up, thumbs down, neutral? Do you think it's too long? There's too many rounds? Do you think the cards starting on the field actually matter or not? And yeah, if you are still trying to figure out a deck to play for this event, and for some reason you don't want to play the best deck in the format by far, which is Primite, Suship, Mathmech, Fiendsmith. I made a couple other videos showcasing decks that you can play that are both budget and like some of the best decks that are legal for this event too. So yeah, go check those out if you're still trying to figure out something to play. But I mean, the secret is just play this fucking deck, bro. I promise you will not be disappointed.